You know why I had to play this music.
I do know. But
Well,
when you said we're going in hot, mute your mic. I couldn't move fast enough, and I knocked about 15 things off my desk.
that's hilarious.
But
Well,
yes, we completed Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy 2024 class graduate. I was a class member. Andy was a class board something.
something or other, yeah. Well, you certainly are a member.
I am a member. I get every time they call you Doc there. I
You
had to
look.
keep looking
I know, man.
because I had to tell people it's the funniest thing. First off, it was wonderful to be around veterans, and we're gonna get to all of that. But it was
Yes.
just funny when Andy, when they called you Doc, I would look because I don't think of you as Doc.
I know. I know.
It's the craziest thing in the world, and it's just because of the time we met. For those people who may not be aware of the time, when I met Andy, he had already, he was commissioned. He was already a nurse corps officer. So I had never thought of him as Doc.
Right.
So to hear people say it may and I'm always with Andy hanging out, so I'm thinking they're talking, but there's no way they're talking to me because I know nobody knows.
Right.
So I'm like, that's just so weird.
It's that Marine Corps Navy Corpsman relationship. Of course, Greg being the president, Marine, Rich Padilla, Marine, Ray Figueroa, Marine, Joe Aylesworth, Marine. It was just once they found out I was a corpsman, it was done deal.
Yeah.
I didn't ask anybody to call me that. It just is.
Yep. Yeah.
But,
You could tell by the structure of the camp that it's Marine deep. It is.
for sure.
It really starts from step one.
By the numbers.
This is the boomstick. You don't want to be on the loud end of the boomstick.
Right.
You do not want to be on the loud end of the boomstick.
How about gear issue, right? All right, hold them up.
Wonderful.
By the numbers.
Wonderful. It was great. Oh yeah, yeah. I was we were laughing, but thank God they didn't make us hold it up and count. How terrible is that? There was 35 of us. We would have never got out of the teens. Never.
Right. Yeah. That was our biggest class to this date, actually. So
yeah,
it was our 10th anniversary, and I thought it went off without a hitch, man. Considering, we had easily 10 more students than we normally have. So
yeah, I thought it was. Listen, everything ran very well. But all of it was amazing. All of it was amazing. But the gear issue. One thing I made sure to talk to the people over at UMSA Tire was when you tell service members you're gonna get gear issue, everybody's thinking it's the lowest bidder. Right? Like, okay, the average soft operator spends between $250 and $500 of his own money each deployment.
Easily.
New magazines, underwear, things like that. All that stuff, toothpaste, soap, little things add up, right? So you think, all right, we're gonna get gear, and it's gonna be functional. It's gonna be functional because no one puts their name on unsafe, non-functional things and hands it to veterans normally.
Unless you're the government.
Yeah, normally. But yeah, you wouldn't do that, right? So we all figured it'd be functional, and cheap. My goodness, top of the line companies. You had New Balance involved in there. You have Wilson, Force 3, and a whole bunch of other brands that I couldn't even begin to name because
Diamond, Smitty.
Smitty, pants, shirts. I mean, these things, amazing gear issue. And top quality stuff.
Not to mention a brand spanking new gear bag.
Yeah, it's a gear bag. Great gear bag.
2 pairs of shoes. You got a pair of base shoes and a pair of plate shoes.
Yep.
You're gonna see, man, when you start going out and doing your thing, that there's a lot of people that go out there and they don't even have plate shoes, man. It's they put together their stuff where they can get it, and
every student, including myself, felt fortunate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're all fortunate, man.
And then you have somebody there, on staff, from the company for any fit issue.
Well, let's
What?
let's just give shout
What?
outs where they are deserved. Brandon Lawson from Umpire
Yeah,
uh, came out for the week or for the whole course, and he was there, and he did a wonderful job of helping people out,
hell of a
swapping
guitarist.
out gear if they needed it, fittings, proper fit, and he couldn't do that if Jim Kirk, who is the owner of the company, didn't allow him to do so. So I just said so. But yeah, great support. Jim Kirk is what a great guy. I don't know how much you got a chance to talk with him. Um, fantastic guy. He comes through and donates all that gear to the veterans, and he allows Brandon. Brandon's got a great story, by the way. He came through. His first time was when I went through as a student, and he was he was so moved and impressed with the whole operation. He only came out for like 2 days for the weekend for the gear issue.
Mm,
He went back home and he called Jim and he said, I got to go back. Can I have a couple of days off? So he was going to pay for everything himself. And Jim said, no, you're not going to have the day off because I'm going to send you and I'm going to pay you and I'm going to put you up. And I mean, it was amazing.
that
So
TAD.
yeah, travel around drunk.
That's
Um,
right.
but yeah, man, those guys are wonderful, wonderful supporters of the organization. But I
Yes.
want to hear more about your experience.
Well, I got sunburned.
Not what I was looking for, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, normally I burn and just roll with it, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I got burned.
Some long days, huh?
Yeah, but they were great. So,
Oh,
um, so I got to camp. I got my gear issue. I met my roommate, who was another corpsman. That was great. He was still in, so that
yeah,
was pretty cool. To hear, what's going on in the Navy, how things are going, because I have a couple of friends. Um, I have a couple of friends who are command master chiefs, even though I personally know that's not the hot take
right.
everyone thinks it is, especially if you knew these people. But I get the perspective from the top, uh, and very rarely do I get it, from that chief level, first, second class level.
Right,
So that was really cool, to hear him talk about the Navy, his time in his deployments from his perspective. Because we were deploying around the same time, but him as a junior, sailor, me as a senior sailor, just not, nowhere near each other.
right,
But we do have, some overlapping timelines, and it was just interesting to hear his perspective. Um, really great guy. Hopefully we'll get him on here. I know we have a couple of people that we did talk to about coming on.
right.
Um, met another guy, EOD technician. Man, what a story! Wow,
What a crazy fucker that guy is.
what a story, man. This guy tells his story. I don't want to tell it because hopefully we'll get him on to tell it. But man, he tells his story, and I can identify 3 points where I would have died immediately. I'm like, I would have died there. Oh, I would have definitely died there. Oh, I would have taken that bait. Oh, I would have. Oh, that would have suckered me, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, just an amazing, phenomenal story, and also a great illustration of the dark humor you develop as a as time goes on and you spend time in the military. We always say, when you go to war, you see the best of humanity and you see the worst of humanity. This
mhm,
guy's telling his story, and at parts you're like, holy crap. But you're dying laughing, because you're like, oh my God, I believe that. Oh yeah, I can believe. Oh yeah. Oh, and then I'm remembering sort of similar times or
right.
different issues or things going on um that were happening, and you're just like, wow, so that's why I say, he tells his story, and I'm dying laughing because there are 3 times he did different things. I would have been dead. I absolutely would have died.
It's a
um,
great story, and hopefully we will get him on. I don't want to mention any names, Kevin, but yeah,
rhymes with
yeah, Kevin. Um, so yeah, hopefully we'll be able to talk him in. But yeah, what a great group of guys and gals we met this year, man. Every year, I think
for sure.
it can't get better, and every year it gets better. It's so was I wrong when I said it's life changing?
No, 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 I don't think so at all. I mean, I haven't I haven't been around people like that, and told those stories or thought about those things. Um, and the other thing was that was refreshing was we're all telling stories, so all the bad stories come out first, and then I
Right.
ran out of bad stories and I started to remember the good ones. All the like the really good thing, the good times, the fun times, the interesting things.
Right.
So because you forget a lot of that too.
Mhm.
Um and like we were talking about clearing houses to because you have to go to the bathroom,
Right.
and that's not part of my adventure. In my adventure, I was trying not to step in camel shit as a little sand cyclone came blowing the toilet paper I just used around like the Matrix, as I'm trying not to get hit with my anyway, long story longer. There's just there are different challenges,
For sure, man.
let's say, that you have as things go on, you know.
What's up, Steezo?
Oh man, if you did that for this, my God bless you.
Hopefully you didn't nick yourself, if you know what I'm saying.
The
Yeah,
seam can be rough,
yeah, that's for sure. Oh, that's not a hair. Damn it.
but
But
yeah, but so the camp was good. They had so it was really interesting. We had a cage time where we got to work with college level and minor league umpires. A couple of major league umpires showed up, told a lot of stories, pertinent stories to situations that were being discussed. Things were presented in a manner completely like they say, drinking from a fire hose, but
right,
manageable.
right.
If I went in there with no experience in this at all. I played baseball, but look, I played high school baseball 1 year,
Mhm.
um, because we sucked and nobody wanted to play again. So I was at a boarding school. There were 200 students, and that was split between a 6th to 12th grade. Okay, so there weren't that many people to pick from. So if people don't want to play, we
Yeah,
don't play.
no
That's why we
team.
didn't have a football team. We had the equipment, but we didn't have a football team. I don't
Jeez,
think anybody knew how to play.
probably not.
Right? We had a basketball team, and
Mhm.
I'll never forget about the basketball team. I'll always remember this. We were winning everything, because we were getting all the trouble kids like myself and the kids from and we get all these kids from these other places. So we were winning everything. And I remember the oldest teacher there. He was a World War II veteran. And he was the oldest teacher there. He was filling in for the coach one day, and he started talking about how we want to move up a division, but we shouldn't move up because the only trophies we have were against. And he started like making fun of the other, like Bethel Bible Baptist bastards. He's like, he's like, you're kicking the crap out of those schools. He's like, I move you up, you're not going to score 5 points and you'll be peeing in your diapers begging to come back. And he just starts ranting, and we have a game.
Oh, shit.
And then I remember him, and I remember the manager's like, hey, sir, we have to go. And he's like, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Does anybody know who said it's not how you win or lose, it's how you play the game? And like people looking around, he's like, that's right, because a loser said it. Now get out there and go win the game. Because no one's going to remember anyway if you don't.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God, dude, this guy was the
Veteran
wisest old man I've ever met.
through and through, calling it like he sees it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, long days for sure,
Yes.
long nights. But man, what a blast, huh?
Great times, man. And like great people. But yeah, absolutely life changing. If you're out there listening, wounded in whatever way, or whatever from the service, service connected. Check out the website, look at the qualifications. If you meet them, apply. You'll love it. You will. We had somebody who knew. We'll try to talk to them too. We had somebody who knew nothing about baseball,
Right.
nothing, nothing, and you could tell. And, but my gosh, were they there meeting people, engaging, introducing themselves, getting to know everybody. You
Having a
know,
great time.
oh man, you know what I'm saying? Really embodied the mission statement, right? Baseball's the excuse. Veterans are the reason. Um, just great person to talk to. We're gonna try to get them on too,
For sure.
to hear how they like the camp. From knowing nothing about baseball to ending up umpiring games in the end. Doing a good job. So very interesting story there. Can't wait to see if we can get them on.
Speaking of another guest who's already told me they'll come on, um, we'll just have to coordinate when. But retired Major League umpire Greg Gibby Gibson.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
He's got some good stories.
Oh, does he? What a good dude. He's such a down to earth guy. You would think out of his status, a couple World Series he's worked,
Yeah,
multiple division championships, all that, he'd be one of these highfalutin kind of guys. But no, he's down to earth, man. He's a fantastic individual.
yes,
And the camp meant so much to him. He came through last year and helped out, but the camp meant so much to him this year that he brought a film production crew that he paid for out of his own pocket to
that's
do
crazy.
yeah, to do a little documentary on the whole thing.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah, he's a good guy. I got a chance to talk to him a little bit. Really nice guy. But I'm telling you what, if he comes in here, I'm putting him on the hot seat. I'm asking him in front of everybody in the world. Are you? Can you really see the heat? Come at like what 2.3 or something. Well, I don't even know what the size of. That's terrible for me to say. I don't know the
right?
size of a baseball,
Oh,
but
Jesus.
the bottom line is at 102 miles an hour.
I believe that somebody of his level could.
I'm asking. I'm
Yeah.
asking, and
No,
I
it's
demand to know
valid.
the truth. We don't tolerate any way. I'll be watching for every. I'll be watching for everything. I'm gonna zoom the camera in. I'm gonna be looking for ticks. I'm looking for retinal flares. I'm looking for any
Well,
type of retinal nicking. That's what I'm looking for. Stress, retinal nicking.
you're gonna do
I'm
a
looking for.
fundoscopic exam on
I'm
him, or what are you
I'm
doing
I'm
here?
diving. I'm taking what in the rising sun. Yeah, here, look, use the gizmo. You can zoom in and everything. I'm gonna use the gizmo. I'm gonna zoom in and I'm
Well,
taking a deep look and I'm asking Gibby Gibson, in front of, all of humanity and our two listeners.
right.
Wait, Steezo, 3. Don't go anywhere.
If
We need the rating. So
if
for
not,
3 listeners.
if nothing else, he'll tell you exactly the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I love about him, man. He doesn't sugarcoat shit. He's no nonsense. He'll tell you. I saw him. I won't mention the name. We had the minor league umpire crew come through and helped out all week. Kudos to them. Uh, but one of them walked in and Gibby asked him a question, and he's like nonchalantly, "Oh, I don't know." Oh, he slammed the shit out of him right there in front of God and everybody, man. So he'll tell you. He'll be honest.
So shout out to that minor league crew. Z was a part of that.
Yep.
And we'll go with that because I'm not even going to try to say his last name.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, and I was looking for you and I could not find you. But right before he left, we were talking because he is intelligent. And I
Yes.
said to him, listen, I hear this all the time. I said, I'm just going to pass this on to you because, we were sharing information back and forth. So
Mhm.
I was going to let him know about my pet peeve. I hate when people say photographic memory because I know that's not what they mean. What they mean is eidetic imagery, and I don't have that. And he was like, "Yeah, of course." He was like, Do you watch not Young Sheldon, whatever that show he came from?" Obviously, I
Oh,
don't watch it.
Big Bang
Big
Theory.
Bang Theory, Big Bang Theory. I wanted to watch it, but I have an addictive personality, so I didn't. Right. Same with Seinfeld. I was like, I can't start these shows until I finish the shows in my queue. Right.
Sure.
So, um, so I never watched it. He goes, but that's what they say Sheldon has, eidetic memory. And I said, well, it's eidetic imagery, but memory, whatever. Anyway, I was like, he knew Andy.
So
Z knows, which is why I'll be sent. Oh,
oh,
hey,
wow, there's that familiar sound.
we'll finish this in a second.
No, he's an amazing person. He's from the Czech Republic. he only comes to the United States to umpire minor league ball, and then he goes back home. And rumor has it that his other job is he's a lawyer. Um, so I know he's at least been through law school. I don't know if he's actually practicing, but great, great guy. Those guys came out. They came out the first 2 days and helped out with the students and whatnot. They didn't have to come back after that, but they did on their own time, which is crazy. If you know anything about minor league umpiring schedules, those guys don't get a whole heck of a lot of time to themselves. So they took their free time and they came and they spent it with us. So you know what? Take my hat off to all three of them. What a great crew. And you probably didn't hear a damn thing I said, did you?
Nope.
All
But
right then.
they were great. Sorry, I had to see. Hey, there was a lot of that at camp too.
Oh yeah.
My my phone, my auto sensor. I leave it on because it's set to ranges. That way I could be out there and I don't have to be checking every 10 minutes. I can be out there and I'll let it a little high. Man, was it setting some vets off.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought my bag was gonna explode because
Yeah. Some of them get a little bit upset when bags start beeping,
yeah. Hey,
especially those EOD types.
that was funny. We were we were sitting in Andy's trailer. It was myself, Kevin, the OD guy, and Andy. Something bumped him. It was a dog getting in the
Oh
trailer.
yeah. Yeah.
He jumped, I jumped, Andy jumped. All three of us. And then the first person has the nerve to turn around and say, "What are you guys moving for?"
Right.
Well, yeah, I next time don't do that, you know?
Right. Right. Man, we had some great sessions out there. So we
Yeah.
have a part of the curriculum is a section called SDI time. And we've modeled that after Marine Corps boot camp. And for those that don't know, in the Marine Corps, you have your booger belts, which is your junior uh, drill instructors. And then you have your senior drill instructor, which is a senior guy, usually a staff sergeant or above. Um, well, what they do is during certain times throughout boot camp, they'll take their campaign cover off, they'll sit it down, and they'll allow the recruits to ask any questions they want to ask without fear of getting beaten or fear of reprisal. So we've kind of adopted that, but instead of that, we've modeled it into a peer to peer session, if you will. I don't want to say counseling because there wasn't any counseling going on, but just a means to it's a means of bonding. It's a means of taking down that wall a little bit, mean of sharing some of your stories. Uh, it's a huge way of healing. Um, so every year we get some great comments on the critiques about that. But I bring that up to say is I'm the SDI, I guess, coordinator, director, whatever you want to call it. Um, so every year I get pulled aside when people want to talk, and I'm totally cool with that. But this year was no different. So we spent a lot of time out. I bought this trailer, this little 19-foot camper. We spent a lot of time out in that because inside the hotel we couldn't hear. Well, I couldn't hear, which is too damn loud. But yeah, late nights, man, getting pulled aside seemed like wet there for a while. At the beginning of the week, it's always slow. People are, getting to know each other and getting comfortable. And then once those floodgates are open, man, it's like I'm getting pulled left and right. Um,
Yeah.
Wouldn't change it at all. In fact, I love it, but I don't think we got to bed before 1:30
No.
all week.
No, I felt so bad. My roommate's like, "Hey, you're kind of a night owl, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "I thought so. I go to bed early." Oh, no.
He's too damn young to be going to bed that damn early.
That's what I thought, but you know what? Good for him, man. Good sleep hygiene is
Right.
is the key to
What
a great tomorrow.
what is that? I don't know what that is.
Sleep hygiene? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I have no idea, clearly.
Oh, yeah, well, for people who
I
don't
I
know.
I'm being facetious, of
Oh,
course.
well, because I'll explain it. Yeah, can I explain it anyway?
Yeah, go ahead, I know it's eating at you.
It is now. Shouldn't have brought it up. Or did I bring it up?
You brought it up.
Okay, well, good sleep hygiene is the behaviors that help train your body that when you lay down, it's time to go to sleep, right? It's under the whole premise of your bed is for sleep and sex only. So you
Yes.
don't read in bed, you don't talk in bed, you don't hang out in bed. And you don't like take little naps in bed, right? It's just for sleep. So what they say is if you find yourself awake in your bed, get up and go sit in a chair. Then read, do whatever. If you fall asleep in the chair, that's fine. When you wake up from that, go back to bed. And if you find yourself still awake, get back up, go back to the chair. And then eventually, after the, habit forming 28 to 30 days, if you can stick to that routine, of only going into the bed when it's time to go to sleep or, for sex, then you'll have trained your brain that when you lay down in bed, it's sleep and you won't be awake anymore. You'll fall right. It'll happen.
Yeah, I do that a lot, and it works. It's either that or the, supplements that I take, and I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Probably a little bit of both, but no, man, it's, this has been your sleep hygiene moment with Lou.
that's right.
Tune in next week for well, we'll figure it out then.
Let me into your bedroom.
Whoa, wait a minute, pal. Wait a minute.
I'll help you sleep.
So, hey, another tradition in the Marine Corps, um, is when you're on the rifle range and you're qualifying. When you qualify, you take off one of your rank from your collar and you give it to your instructor that helped you qualify.
Yes.
Well, we've adapted that as well. We came up with a situation where we'll have the students bring rank collar devices or, whatever. It could be like a warfare device, a patch, whatever they
Right.
feel is special to them. And they give it to the instructor that they felt helped them the most. So that's always a really cool thing, man. It was really weird this year, though. We did it all under the pavilion. We normally do it on the field, um, which was,
It was hot.
yeah, it was hot. But it wasn't as hot as it was last year.
It
Thank
might.
God.
I told you my wife and kid are in Japan. I was talking to my wife. She was like, "Hey, don't forget, open the windows, like get some air flowing through there because we were both gone for a week and a half. I just got back. It's funny she brings that up to me, right? Because I just want to be honest. I'm the one that opens everything, and I get the pollen. It comes in. It's my sinuses, and don't open that window. Open this one. I open everything. I'm the one who opens everything. But yeah, I needed a reminder
Of course.
to
Yeah.
open it, but I said, "No, man, it's like in the '90s. No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's
Yeah, and
stupid.
then
It's stupid hot here, too.
yeah, and she said, "It's hot in Japan, but it's been hotter in Pittsburgh." She goes, "I think it's been hotter for you." She goes, "Yeah, I think it has been hotter for you."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Connie and the kids are in the Philippines, so it's always hot there too.
Oh, that place is friggin' Satan's armpit.
So I don't want to hear it because they're going to the beach every day.
Yeah,
Whatever, you know.
it's too hot.
Yeah, I'm going to the garage and dying.
Yeah.
But
It's like Okinawa, you could see the
yeah,
water all the way down to the bottom.
yep.
Yeah, because the sun kills everything. Like, water is like a lens, like, you know what I mean? The sun just fries every fucking thing in those places.
Speaking of the Philippines, I just read a story yesterday that the Chinese Navy basically boarded Filipino ships in Filipino waters with swords and shit. It's all an uproar, man. It's like China, they're just well, that's what happens when you have a weak administration. But anyway, more back to the baseball
With
stuff.
swords?
Yeah, fucking weird, man, isn't it?
Uh,
What are you butt pirates? I don't know.
like
Or
EMPs?
give me your booty. I don't know.
EMP practice?
It's probably practice for Taiwan, to be honest.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah. They don't have a lot of time. They gotta get
Yep,
on that.
that's right. But so yeah, we did the pinning ceremony, which is cool. That's basically the last day. Then we had our graduation ceremony, which was nice, but it went really long this year.
Yeah,
Really
we took we
long.
we we had intermission.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had 32 students to get through. Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's
Um,
up?
so yeah, it was a long ceremony, but it was a good one, I thought. Um,
Yeah, I thought it was that was neat watching, them pass the ear pins down and everything. That was pretty
so
cool.
that's a new thing this year.
Yeah, it looked it.
So that was pretty cool. Good idea. I liked it. And then from there we moved.
Good initiative, bad timing.
Yeah, exactly. So from there we moved on. We went to the Senators baseball game,
That's right.
and we had dinner there. We got to watch our umpire crew that had helped us all week long umpire the game, and it was good times. And then after that, Saturday roll right into games. Um,
So we were in Harrisburg, and you remember I told you, oh man, my sister's ex-boyfriend lives there.
yeah.
And I was good. He wanted to go to lunch sometime if I was in town. I mean,
Hmm.
he's long since remarried, or I mean, they never got married. I mean, I'm just, he
Right.
whatever. But I love no homo. I love that guy more than she did. It hurt me more when they broke up, man. He's the one. He's the one who used to drive me around with the spotlight and the cigarette lighter, and would go to his old drinking spots, bang the spotlight, and say, "Hey, police!" When they ran, he'd go down, collect the keg, because and then we'd go drinking.
Nice.
So I never paid for any beer the entire time they were dating. He would just go around, and this is true. He was scouted by the Red Sox
Really?
until
Oh.
they found his shoulder surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well.
yeah, but yeah, they were looking at him. He pitched in college. I caught one ball from him, and it almost blew my hand off. And I'll never do that again. There's a big difference between, a 1 year high school that doesn't want to play anymore
Right.
team catcher catching the ball
You know,
for a
funny
college guy.
story. When Liam first started pitching, I called my uncle and I was talking to him, and I never knew this for years and years, but I found out that my grandfather was drafted by the Cardinals in 1936 as a
Huh,
pitcher.
nice.
But because of the depression, he couldn't go. Because he
Yeah.
had like 27 siblings and shit like that.
Well, so when I was away, so the camp is in Carlisle, and I went to Carson Long Military Academy for high school. So I went to high school there, and that teacher, again, that teacher was a history teacher, the one who's, who said it's not how you win or lose. The loser said it, and that's why nobody knows. And yeah, man, he had a million of them.
That's
He,
awesome, man.
he said he was looking at a guy with a mohawk, and the guy said, "What are you staring at?" He goes, "I fucked a peacock once and thought you were my son. I'm sorry." He told us this in the middle of class. This guy had 1,000 of them, man. But he said the Cincinnati Reds came through recruiting, right?
Hmm,
Um, and they came through Carlisle, and he said he couldn't hit the curveball, so he didn't make it.
mhm.
Right? He said his buddy was a pitcher, and he said he threw pitches, and then the catcher took his glove off and told him, "Throw me your heater." And he said, "Okay." And he threw him the heater. He barehanded it, dropped it, and said, "Next."
Jesus
And he said,
Christ.
"What?" He asked him, "What the fuck happened?" He was like, "Man, I had to have it up over 90." He goes, "I'm sure I had it over at least over 90."
Damn.
He said, "But that was his final test. It had to sting." He barehanded it and said, "Next." And he said, "That's how he." So he goes, "That's why he doesn't have a ring, because he can't hit the curveball, and his buddy doesn't have a ring because that son of a bitch catcher barehanded that fucker and said next."
Wow. That's back when men were men, man.
Barehanded his heater, man.
Back when men were men and sheep were scared.
Oh, I'll tell you what. He told us a World War II story where uh his mother, he at the school he taught German. He spoke fluent German.
Yeah.
Um and he was a West Point officer, right, graduate. But he learned German because his mother was the American translator at the
Oh,
embassy.
shit. No shit.
And he said he was coming home one day, the things were starting. He said he was coming home one day, and he used to stop by this guy who had the tin toys. You wind him up and let him go.
Mhm.
And he said so it was gone. It was burned.
Oh, man.
And his mother, but he was telling us what he was trying to tell us, because he taught history and German and all stuff. He was telling us the propaganda was thick. He said it was thick. He said
Oh,
when you were a
sure.
kid, all you wanted to do was have your picture taken with an SS soldier.
Hmm.
You wanted to see, and man, if he put his hat on your head and you had your picture taken at school, and nobody would touch you. He
Hmm.
said it was the propaganda was thick.
Sure.
So he said when the toy store was burnt down, he said, "What happened to the toy store?" His mother started to explain it. And he said, "No, he's a Jew. It's okay." And he said, that was it. He was on the next plane back to America, live with his uncle.
Damn.
Went to West Point, graduated, so he spoke fluent German. officer gets platoon commander. He said he said he ran into a German soldier. He thought so. He like whispered in German and he replied and he goes, and I have a good accent. He goes, so I basically was like, I'll tell you what, man. Let's you go back that way, I'll go back my way, and we'll both tell our sides somebody's there. Like, don't lie. Like, we're not gonna lie.
Right.
Okay, but we don't need to we don't need to kill each other here. He's like, I'm gonna go back, you go back and tell them this place is dangerous. And
Damn.
so that's what they did, man. He said they were like, well, we were like, hey, we don't have to do this,
I bet he's got some incredible stories, man.
Oh man, he told us people were getting smoked all the time because he was talking about the new. He used to go to the War College all the time and guest lecture, and he
Mhm,
said the new spins, like the fact that we have spins, like challenge and pass, and it's universal,
mhm,
and that it rolls. He was like that was killing more. That was more blue on blue than anything. He's like this platoon didn't have that. This battalion didn't have that battalion's challenger pass. And,
right.
you get confused. You're off a degree. You're walking. He's like, man, you'd be miles off, man. Wrong challenge. Light them up, boys.
I could see that for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. He said that shit would happen all the time. He said when he was leaving, um, he said there were 3 big piles. You had to dump all your shit, and there were 3 big piles. One was art, one was silver, one was gold. And it was amnesty.
Yeah.
If you had any of that shit in your bag, it was amnesty. Go put it in the pile and then go get on the plane. He said because people were stealing all kinds of shit.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said they publicly hung U.S. soldiers.
Huh.
He said if they caught them sexually assaulting the Germans,
Mhm.
they hung them publicly to show the Germans that they weren't above American law. He said so a lot of soldiers got hung.
Well, if you're a rapist, you deserve it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he said it was nuts, man. He said it was just different. Like, they didn't have riots. He said, "No, man, you shoot the first 100, everyone goes home."
Yeah.
He goes, "You only have to do that twice." He said, "That's it. That used to be in the manual." He goes, "It may not be anymore." He goes, "But that was in the manual. Shoot the
I
first 100, the rest will go home."
I'm almost certain it's not in
Yeah,
this
he said, "Shout,
politically
show, shove."
correct.
Yeah, like shout, show, shove, shoot. He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You guys never shoot though." He goes,
So, uh, getting back to baseball, Caleb says if 90
"Ah,
miles per hour didn't sting, then that MFer has no feeling in his hand, period.
right, right, right."
Right. And he probably didn't.
Yeah, you know what? Catch because we got to remember, you got to figure whenever the Cincinnati Reds won the World
Mm,
Series that following year, or that year, that would
mhm,
have been. So I'm imagining before the war, because he would have been trying out, because when you deployed for the war, you stayed till it was over. Back then, you
right,
didn't come home. It wasn't 6 months. You didn't rotate 6. Those guys were there for like years.
right.
So so it had to be before. So I'd look for the Reds, and then whoever that catcher was. I mean, look at the equipment. It's probably not the padding's probably terrible. He's probably
Oh,
getting lit up.
yeah.
Probably,
So so Dave Pritchett, I'd stopped at his house, last year, I think it was. That's not important, but he's got his I think it's either his dad's or his grandfather's old catcher's mitt. And yeah, man, there's not a lot of padding in those things at all.
yeah.
It's wild. But so Saturday rolled into games. I wanna know how your experience went. Your first game.
Oh, yeah. Well, so one of the things I didn't get from camp, was whether or not I could see the pitch. I wasn't
Yes.
sure I could see the ball.
Right.
So my first game, I was behind home plate, and that was probably my biggest fear, my biggest focus. So I wasn't
Mhm.
really paying attention to the pitcher. Um, then and it came in, and I saw it, and I ducked. I ducked.
Everybody's done it at least once.
I ducked. And I looked over, and I looked over, and John was there, and it was already hot, and I was already having, penis issues from the heat. And then just the look on his face emasculated me.
Oh, shit.
And and so I got in there, and and like a good soldier, I ducked again. Um but that was the last time.
Good. Got out of your system.
Got it out of my system. I stayed in there. I got hit 6 times. After
Jeez.
that, I counted them: 2 in the ankle, 2 in the chest, 2 in the arm. I did have a little baseball mark I was really proud of, the one bruise, because I was like, "Oh, I bet everybody gets this similar bruise in this similar way." You know what I mean? Like this little
Sure.
outline,
Yeah.
little ball outline.
Yeah.
So I was like, I felt like part of the club. Um, then the batter jumped and I kicked my leg back, like towards the end. Like he jumped and I like moved my leg back, like as
Huh.
if the ball were coming back, like to let it go
Oh.
back to the fence,
Uh-huh.
to not get hit by it. So I count that as a flinch.
I don't count that as a fl I do that
Okay.
shit all the time.
Okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure, so I was
It
counting it. But I did duck. So but I'll tell you what, I could see the pitches and I asked the guy out in front of me, my partner, Bolino, great guy,
Mhm.
awesome guy, umpire,
Absolutely.
man, if I looked good, it's from him. How was it? And so here's the biggest problem, right, with veterans uh together, right? You have two extremes, right? You have the guys who will tell you everything how it is, right? And I'm sort of in that group. But I try not to be a jerk about it anymore, right? But I'll tell you.
Mhm.
And then you have a group that are like, man, I really didn't like what I was, and I just really want to, and they kind of overcompensate, and they're very kind about it.
Yeah.
So I was with a partner who's very kind, and so he may have been being kind, but he did give me some honest feedback. The reason I say he may have been being kind is he said I had a consistent strike zone. I thought I was trying to keep one together. Maybe I did. But he did tell me that it did look like the curveball was eating my ass up. I said, "Oh, probably, man, probably."
I I was at, I did a 12U game last night,
Nice.
and this kid threw a curveball. 12U, and you should have heard the parents when I rung that kid up. "Oh, come on, where was that?" "In the damn strike zone, where do you think it
Yeah.
was?" "It's a
Oh,
curveball, hello." But they
man.
you get used to it, man.
This one kid. Oh, here, everybody's in help mode, so a lot of people aren't really listening, or they're just trying to pick up keywords to formulate their answer quickly so they can, help as much as they can.
Mhm.
Uh, but I was telling somebody, I was like, man, this one kid, he is painting the outside of the plate, man. I mean, he is just, oh man, it's right, just like right there. And they're like, you can call those a strike. And just in my head, I'm like, what the fuck does painting the out? What does it mean to you? Yeah, I'm bringing that up every time.
All day.
I mean, it's like right, but I was just like, oh, you're in help. You're in help mode.
I tried, when you were on the both the plate and the base, I just tried to leave you alone, man.
Oh yeah, no, it was. I'll tell you what, man. I yeah, I had good helpers on the side.
Mhm.
I didn't get heckled. Afterwards, I went up to. I know people wanted to give feedback right away, but I made sure I went up to each coach and I just was like, hey, thanks for taking it easy on me today. I know it's not like that all the time, and every one of them was like, oh man, no, hey, good job, thanks for your service. But I made sure because these were my first games ever to say
Yeah.
thanks to each coach for not killing me.
Nice.
I did call a kid safe. Looked safe to me. But when they started getting on, when the kids started protesting, I was like, I started to doubt myself. I was like, no, no, you know what? I gotta stay with it, man. The kid's out. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
gotta stick with it. But it's gonna be fun. I took the PIAA exam today. I passed, so I'm now an officially registered Pennsylvania high school and below umpire. My clearances are all in. I was able to print my temp ID today. So that's all thanks to Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy.
If it's not fun, stop doing it because it should always be fun. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
You're still gonna there's you're still in that learning phase, and so am I. You know, um, but I've really the last probably 3 years I've been just having a lot of fun with it. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So,
And that was the other thing about the camp too. They bring back alumni
Mhm.
So there were people who went through last year that were able to help this year, and
Right.
they sort of relieve a lot of the stress. They take a lot of the guessing out of it. And here's the thing. It's not a camp designed to mess. There's no guessing game, right? If you're missing information, it's because you didn't read, or when you had your opportunity, you didn't ask.
Or you weren't paying attention.
That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. It's
Right.
everything. Nobody's hiding anything, right?
Right.
So it helps to have alumni who are like, oh, hey, I missed X, what, and they at least know how it runs. Hey, look, you're always going to need this, and this, right? Or you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Right.
So that's a big help, to have alumni there. So the camp is really structured really well.
Mhm. It's a lot of behind the scenes that goes into to making that place run, you know? And, so camp's over, and now Legacy Camp is gonna be at the end of the month, and what Legacy Camp is it's an opportunity to get a modified an abridged version of the course, if you will, but you get to bring a family member. So, I am gonna bring Liam next year. But after that Legacy Camp, man, the next event is our Veterans Day tournament, um, in November, and then it's right back to the planning phases, man. It never stops. Getting ready for next year. But we finished up. Oh, let me get to Caleb's comment real quick. He said, "I tried to ump Little League. The kids are great. The parents were awful. I had to quit. I was worried I'd lose it and that that would be unacceptable in front of the children. It wasn't fun. Ah, man, you just got to have a sense of humor with it, and it also helps be deaf like I am. So I've got my back to the parents. I really don't hear them. But funny thing about that is I do usually brief that in a plate meeting with the coaches. Hey, I'm hard of hearing, so get my attention visually
Oh
because
yeah,
I had a coach one year thought I was ignoring him. He's going ape shit on the side, man. He was a base coach. And he's like, "Why are you ignoring me, Blue?" I said, "I'm not ignoring you. I didn't hear you." I said, "Try using your big boy voice next time." You know, it just kind of broke the tension and everything was fine. But
right.
so after after camp concluded, we went and did a little camping of our own.
Yeah.
It was a blast, man.
No, I had great time,
It was,
great time, and then, that storm,
oh my God.
and the tent was still.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the tent was still there. I couldn't believe the awning because I forgot to put the awning in before we went to
Yeah,
the store.
those winds were crazy. I figured the trees would break some of it up,
Right.
but still, it was 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, it looked like a little tornado was going through when we were in that store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I got to, when we got back and I was at the gas station getting my free Get-Go coffee that every veteran and first responder gets at Get-Go. They asked how the guy in there, he knew I was going camping after to check my tent out, and he asked how if it was up during the storm. I said, "Yeah." He said, "I do." I said, "It did good." I even had the zippers down, the flaps for air.
Oh, yeah.
There was no water inside my tent. I don't know
That's
how.
amazing. Yeah. Right direction, I guess.
Shit ton of mosquitoes when I took the
Oh,
fly
yeah.
off.
I bet.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes were bad, man.
Oh, at that park, yeah, they're miserable. And I didn't have any. You need the deep woods or cutter deep woods or
Yeah, I've got the, well, we didn't even really use it. I broke out the spray. We didn't I like, maybe a little bit on my legs, and that was it,
yeah,
but, yeah, I got out of there, man, not too much longer after you did. I went took a shower and cleaned up a little bit and,
yeah,
got the trailer ready to go, and it was fine. It was a lot of fun, man. It was what a blast. Um, so I'm actually I think I was telling you pre-show. I'm going to Branson, I think on Sunday.
yeah,
Take advantage of that free 4-day whatever they're going to give me. So,
yeah.
but I would tell you this on the drive home, I'm so glad I had that fan because it was so hot that last night.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't even get under the sheet or nothing, man. It was pretty warm.
Oh,
But what an adventure, man. I
yeah.
still slept good, you know.
Oh, yeah. When I was in the tent, it was good sleep.
But I tell you, buying that trailer and going to camp this year was one of the Connie will probably disagree. One of the better things I've ever done because sleeping in that damn Jeep is just, it's not any fun. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I had the pressure taken off on me. I didn't have to hurry, didn't have to worry because I just pull over wherever I want, take a nap, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But good times are had by all. I think our veterans helping veterans segment has been covered throughout the entire show.
I think so. I think we're
Yeah.
good.
So once again, that's right. If you're looking to support a veterans organization, go to Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy. That's right, woundedwarriorua.org.
Yeah.
Be the fifth caller.
Right? I won New Kids on the Block tickets like that. I was immediately popular
Oh my God. You admit that?
in the 1992, I think.
Oh my God. New Kids on the Block.
My dad sold them.
I
I
don't
couldn't
blame
even
them.
pick them up.
Really?
Yeah, it's too young.
Oh,
I was
well,
the
how old
ninth
were
caller, but
91? How old were you in 91?
92.
92.
I was starting high school, 14.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
92, I started high school. 95, I joined the Navy.
I just came off my first deployment in
Yeah.
92.
95, I joined the Navy.
That's
You came off
funny
your
as
first
shit.
deployment in 92?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy how long ago that was?
But it doesn't feel like it, man.
We were talking about that, the National Defense Ribbon, when people
Yeah.
started showing up without it, you were like, "What the hell?"
Right? You're out of uniform. Oh, wait, maybe you're not.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, it was even better when the Star came out. I was on Norfolk when the authorization for the Star came out.
Mhm.
Hey, Vietnam. Oh
Yeah,
no,
right.
buddy. No.
I had
Sorry.
I had so many people giving me shit over that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had a star on my national defense. Yeah.
It's hilarious. Well, hey, we've got about, oh, I don't know, 8 minutes left. What do you say we wrap this shit show up a little bit early?
I'm good.
All right. Well, first show back. Uh,
Yeah. And let's
we're
work on getting some of our partners from the camp on here to tell some more stories.
oh yeah, definitely. If you're not listening, you're wrong. Although you
Right.
would know because you're not listening. But anyway, any parting words, sir?
I have none. Just look forward to some guests coming up. I know we're going to talk to somebody on the Pittsburgh music scene coming up either this month or next month. Before the end of the summer, that's for sure. Tell us about some of the happenings, the places that are going on, and talk a little bit about the evolution of music on the local scene here. And then, of course, some more Umpire Academy stories. And
And
then I think Andy, we also have some more authors and things lined up. I mean,
we do.
we
We
got a
have
packed year coming up.
Yep, we got plenty of people lining up, and we are happy to bring them to you. But until next week, thanks for listening. Bye bye.
You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table with Andy and Lou, an Admiral Media production podcast. All information at the time of recording is mostly